The most recent Ninjago theme was all about underwater. We have the ninjas and submarines and stuff fighting underwater serpents. And the one right before that had this islander theme going with the ninjas on an island fighting islanders. So when I saw these two themes, I thought, wow, these would look great in one big display together. And thanks to the book blogger, I was able to get them all and do that. Coming right off my fighting pit build, which fell apart like 3 times as I was moving around during various stages of the building, I decided this one was definitely going to be modular. And we have these 3 sections connected by technique pins that allowed me to take it downstairs in 3 easy chunks in order to bring it to my photography table. The star of the show here is my big rock. No, actually the star is this lovely dragon dynamically posed coming around the big rock. And it's fighting, of course, the serpent dragon here that the evil Kalmar is trying to reawaken. We also have here the Temple of the Endless Sea, as this set's called. I modified it significantly in order to put it into the rock here. I took out all the light gray or dark gray that was in the set, and also the dark tan, just in order to keep it very distinct from my rock wall and my seafloor. On the other hand, the vehicles, like this Kalmar's chariot here and the ninja vehicles, really didn't modify those at all, just put them onto the build wherever it seemed that they would best fit. I want to talk, of course, about some of the techniques that I used in this build. This particular technique is a variation of Eli's Slinky Rock technique. You can see the link in the description if you want to know more about that. Basically, the way I do it, I just run technique axles through these rocky boulders, which are just slopes built around a piece with a technique hole in it. I use holes instead of axle holes for the most part in order to allow me to freely rotate the boulders and get some really interesting angles and shapes. These pillars proved pretty useful for posing the minifigures on and, you know, just hopefully tying the 2 sides of the mock together with the big rock. Being slinky rocks, these rocks, of course, slinky. They're pretty sturdy though, despite that level of movement. If we look behind the big rock, first of all, we see that I have some black cloth here. This is to keep the light from shining through. Basically, anytime you build a single layer wall in Lego bricks, you'll probably have some areas where light shines through the cracks when you're taking pictures. So I usually use black cloth in order to avoid that problem. As you can see inside, again, we have these technique axles running through, keeping everything together. And we have basically whatever prefab parts I could find just to raise that height so we can get to the next level with the water and the island. Speaking of the water, here again is the technique I wanted to talk about. We have 4 layers in the water. We have 2 layers of trans clear 1x2 plates. Those between them, they're interlaced so they keep everything together. And then on top of that, you have a layer of trans light blue dots and then trans light blue tiles. I actually ran out of my trans clear 1x2 plates, which is not the piece I was expecting to run out of, but I ran out and was not able to make quite as much water as I had been hoping originally. But hopefully it's enough to give you a good feel for where the water line is on this mock. I was able to keep some of the fun play functions from the set. Here is this dragon head that opens and closes and the totem pole bouncing back and forth, I suppose when lightning strikes it, right? The other thing I wanted to talk about also was the coral. First of all, notice I used warm colors for the coral in order to differentiate it from all the blue that we have in the sets. And I also used a lot of repetitive pieces. I found things that I had a lot of, like these yellow twigs and minifigure hands. I put them together and I used a lot of them in the same spot to give a repetitive coral feeling, because that's kind of what coral is like, right? Here you can see all the sets I used, where I put them, and with the set numbers there. And here's the complete mock. I hope you enjoyed.